A Ukrainian drone operator spots a hidden Russian position. An M1 Abrams is dispatched to eliminate the threat. First shot, then the second. Moments later, the target was in flames. As soon as the mission was completed, the Abrams quickly returned to its position. Here is another example. In the Avdiivka region, Russian invaders were spotted. A US-supplied Abrams tank quickly reached the target, fired multiple shots, and after destroying it, returned to base. A drone spotted an abandoned tank that had been damaged by a mine, but not completely destroyed. The drone struck it directly. At first, a small fire broke out in the turret area. But when the fire reached the stored ammunition, it triggered a massive explosion that engulfed the entire tank, completely destroying it and making it unusable. A reconnaissance drone spotted a group of Russian assault units approaching from another direction. One of the Russian soldiers noticed the drone and opened fire, trying to shoot down the recon drone. The Russian vehicles moved in unpredictable patterns, attempting to confuse Ukrainian drone operators. But their advance came with a deadly risk, an area thickly planted with mines. As soon as the first tank rolled in, a huge blast tore it apart, sending fire and smoke high into the sky. Yet the column pushed forward. Moments later, the second tank rolled over another mine. But before it could recover, a Javelin anti-tank missile streaked toward it. Direct hit, followed by a massive explosion that tore the vehicle apart. One after another, Ukrainian artillery locked on and unleashed devastating fire. Within minutes, the battlefield turned into a graveyard. Not for Ukrainian tanks, but for the Russian armored advance. After the first attack failed, Russian troops got ready again for a second strike. But as they moved forward, one APC hit a mine and exploded. Then a tank also hit a mine and blew up. Only 2 vehicles were left moving. One of them was destroyed by a Ukrainian FPV drone, leaving just the last APC. It tried to push forward, but it too hit a hidden mine and exploded. A Leopard tank moves into position, its gun locked on target. The first round slams into a Russian tank, direct hit. Without hesitation, it fires again, taking out another. Desperate, the Russian forces make their final remaining vehicles push, but as soon as their tanks roll into the mined zone, they erupt one after another in towering explosions. In moments, the battlefield transforms into a graveyard of Russian armor. By the end of this failed assault, over 100 Russian vehicles lay destroyed. An unmistakable testament to the precision, resilience, and sheer combat power of the Ukrainian army. A TOS-1, a multiple rocket launcher system, was spotted, a deadly weapon capable of unleashing devastation across wide areas in seconds. But before it could fire a single shot, Ukrainian forces locked on and launched a Javelin anti-tank missile. The missile streaked through the air, striking the armored vehicle with pinpoint precision. Let's take a look at several more Russian assaults. Tanks leave the staging area with a mission. To break through one of the flanks. It starts with shelling of the target sector. Part of the column, undercover, reaches the forward line. Now they are in the open. A tank, an MTLB loaded with ammunition, and 2 APCs. A smokescreen is deployed. Suddenly, a shell strikes the tank from above. What was that? The Ukrainians have used a javelin to stop the assault. The crew reacts instantly, running toward the MTLB, but moments later, it takes a hit to the side. This appears to be the work of a Ukrainian tank firing arc shots from behind cover, guided by a drone. The advance is halted. Ukrainian artillery follows up with cluster munitions. A bomb-dropping drone releases explosives, and an FPV drone slams into the tank. The MTLB bursts into flames. Followed by a powerful explosion. Another drone drops more explosives, triggering the tank's smoke canisters. The assault is over. A Shadow Union unit spotted a Russian tank advancing aggressively toward Ukrainian territory, aiming to eliminate a hidden drone operator. The first drone struck the target. Realizing the danger, the crew quickly abandoned the tank and took cover nearby. Moments later, a second Ukrainian drone struck, igniting the vehicle in a fiery blast and rendering it completely useless. This assault was a failure from the start. The enemy lost its first APC before the battle even began. Then, a tank hit a mine and exploded. But the order was clear: no retreat. They pushed forward into the open. After heavy fire from Ukrainian forces, they turned back. The earlier disabled tank was now in flames. Taking another route, a Russian tank drove into a mined tree line. An APC made the same mistake. FPV drones hit the stuck APC, and the tank was consumed by fire. The Russians try again, this time with 3 APCs. A drone hits the second one, a direct strike. The leading APC hits a mine, causing an explosion. At first, it is covered in smoke. Then, it is completely in flames. Next, another APC is hit directly by a drone, followed by a second drone hitting it again. The APC catches fire completely. The assault has failed. This is how the Azov unit reacts after spotting a Russian column. The enemy sends 2 APCs ahead to scout. Their mission is to reach the village and set up defenses. They're already close to the outskirts when drones take control of the fight. An FPV drone strikes first, followed by a bomb-dropping drone. The first APC is stopped in its tracks. The second pushes forward. But soon, flames consume the first one. That second APC reaches the village, but can't get through a mine barrier. A Ukrainian tank moves into position and fires toward APC. Drones keep hitting. The APC enters the tank's kill zone. Moments later, it detonates. This attempt ends right at the edge of the village. A drone drops explosives with perfect aim. Then, the second APC hits a mine. Another strike drone lands a precise hit on the tank. The push fails. Next comes another wave, led by a Russian tank. This column has 2 tanks and 3 APCs. But Ukrainian forces are already prepared. The lead vehicle is destroyed, and the convoy stops. One APC reverses into a minefield. Another is taken out by an FPV drone. The Russians begin to retreat, but hit even more mines. Confusion spreads. Nowhere to go. An APC tries to swing wide to escape. But it fails completely. What's left is a battlefield littered with destroyed Russian armor. The assault is over, and the defeat is absolute. Since the early months of Russia's full-scale invasion, small drones have shifted from being tools of reconnaissance to precision strike weapons. Among these, FPV, or first-person view, drones have emerged as one of the most disruptive innovations on the battlefield. Unlike traditional artillery or missiles, FPV drones combine the accuracy of a guided weapon with the adaptability of a human pilot, delivering explosives with pinpoint precision in real time. For Ukraine, they have become a cost-effective way to destroy expensive enemy armor. Disrupt troop movements and strike targets that would otherwise be unreachable. The process begins with detection. Ukrainian drone operators, often working in teams, monitor the battlefield from concealed positions or mobile command points. Reconnaissance drones patrol overhead, scanning for signs of armor, artillery, or fortified positions. Once a high-value target is confirmed, whether it's a tank, an anti-air system, or an ammunition truck, FPV pilots are called into action. Each FPV drone is fitted with a live video feed, allowing the operator to navigate through terrain, around obstacles, and directly onto the target. These drones are often loaded with improvised explosive devices, ranging from anti-tank warheads to fragmentation charges. Unlike cruise missiles or artillery shells, an FPV drone can adjust its path mid-flight, making it difficult for the enemy to predict and counter. The attack is swift. Flying at speeds of up to 150 kilometers per hour, the drone approaches at low altitude to avoid radar detection. Operators often use tree lines, buildings, or terrain folds for cover until the final seconds of the strike. In many cases, the drone is flown directly into the most vulnerable point of the target, the rear engine deck of a tank, the open hatch of an armored vehicle, or the exposed ammunition rack of an artillery piece. The result is often catastrophic damage with a single hit. FPV drones are not only tools of destruction, but also psychological weapons. Enemy troops know they're being watched, and the sound of an approaching drone, often too late to react, can cause panic and disorder. This constant threat forces Russian units to disperse, conceal their movements, and slow down operations, giving Ukrainian defenders more time to prepare. The effectiveness of FPV strikes is amplified when combined with other weapons. Damaged vehicles hit by artillery can be finished off by drones. Enemy positions suppressed by machine gun fire can be breached with explosive-laden quadcopters. And because these drones can be built at a fraction of the cost of the targets they destroy, they impose a heavy economic toll on the attacker. Over time, FPV drones have become a core element of Ukraine's defensive and offensive playbook. They blur the line between infantry, artillery, and air power, putting precision strike capability into the hands of small, mobile teams. On the modern battlefield, where speed, adaptability, and information dominate, these drones have proven that even the smallest aircraft can have a decisive impact on the outcome of a fight.